Hello dear viewers, welcome back, it's Maverick here, it's Monday, it's time for another episode of Monogatari Mondays. So, we just concluded the Oni Monogatari arc with a very bombshell conclusion here in regards to Mayoi. And, to be honest, I really don't know what to think of it right now. It just feels so unreal to me that Mayoi is just, gone from the series. I don't know whether it's permanent. Like I said, I don't really want to be spoiled by these kind of things, but it's just, I don't know. I think it really hasn't sunk in for me yet. So at this point, I'm just gonna move it aside, and well, the show must go on, right? So now we are in a new arc, and I have decided to first watch Koimonogatari. So actually, this is an error on my part. I was originally trying to go for the light novel order. That's why I watched Kizumonogatari at the point where I watched it. But I didn't realize that within the season itself, they actually also switched around the order of the arcs as well. So, what's done is done. Since I already am on this path, I'm just gonna watch this season in the airing order, and so watch Hana Monogatari after this. But do know that I actually prefer to watch things the way that the author originally intended to. So, with that being said, I have no idea what's gonna happen in Koimonogatari. From what I understand, it's supposed to be the ending arc, the conclusion arc to the second season. Hana is supposed to happen a bit earlier. So, I don't know. I think the end goal here is to maybe get to the entire part with Sengoku once again, once the school semester ends. Is that true or not? Let's just jump right into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Who are you? Oh. Hello. As you read along. Okay, this is an interesting literary technique here. He's already admitting right from the onset that he's in a conversation with us, the readers, but that he himself is an unreliable narrator. Yeah, final story. At least for this arc. End of second term. Alright, so that's Sengoku's thing, right? Wait, is the main character for this arc actually... Oh, okay. No, of course not. It's Senjugahara. That's Senjugahara, right? What? No, wait, what? That's kind. We suddenly went back to the 80s then. 80s manga, 80s animation style. Oh yeah, she did love him before. What is with this 80s stuff? I do like this song though. Hitagi End. Alright, New Year's. So 3 more months until the end of these semester. It is going to be told from the point of view of Kaki. Sure you did, Kaki. Sure you did. Oh. How do you? So how exactly are they gonna meet here? Are you effing serious right now? Well, I mean, he did say not to trust everything he says, so... Well, why did you go to Okinawa then? Oh, immediately. Well, he did promise us a quality story, right? So, certainly entertaining. You know, there's a pretty good chance they were actually on the same plane. Considering... What the... What in the actual... So he's going to... Holy shit. Yes, she's cracking up as well. I thought the story you guys were going was that you just met each other. No. Sengoku or Araki? Okay. Just trying to gain the upper hand here. Probably with Hanekawa. This girl. So nonchalant about everything. I gotta say, I do love that attitude of hers. She says, that stupid mustache. make it off Senjugahara. Okay, so it's been a bit more of over a month. No, you had the crab god with you. You didn't become the crab god yet, right? Let me guess. The deceiving part is to deceive her that she's not a god? She's actually just a normal girl? Well, then he probably doesn't know about Sengoku. Probably not. I don't quite think... Yeah, I don't think his thing is his pride or confidence. What makes him tick? Let me think about this. That fake is as good as the truth? Lolly sleep. Lolly Dore. Oh yeah, and of course money too. What? Yeah, she's not gonna get an answer from him or a commitment from him here. Yeah, you can't use... But if it's something else that interests him... That's not what makes you tick, Heike. You have something else that makes you tick. No. Yeah, you need to find... Yeah. He has something else that makes him tick. Right? It has to fit his values, right? No, that's not it. No, these aren't it. But I am curious, like, who, like, what is going to make him tick? See, here's the funny thing. You know, he kind of wants to do this out of why, I don't know. But Kambara? No. But he's like a machine, right? You need to fit this criteria in order for me to work. That is how he is. Yeah, when Kaiki was first introduced, yeah, he was trying to find her. Yeah, good deduction skills. That's a yes. Hey! I love it. I guarantee I did not see those subtitles yet, but it just seemed like something you would say. uh, Alright. New ending. Let's take a look at this. Still in the same style here. Is that Oshino in the back? That's Kaiki and Oshino, right? Mei. And I don't know who's the one reading. Just a love song. There's Sengoku. Okay, basically it's all the girls, right? And the guys. And the Noki at the very end. Oh, still you two doing the previews? Alright. Well, I'll take a look at this myself. See you guys after this. Man, oh man, this is only the first episode of this arc, and I can already tell I am going to be thoroughly entertained, especially if it's going to be continuously narrated by Kaiki, which is, you know, quite a feat in of itself, but I have lots of many other reasons why I enjoy this as well, right? And yeah, let's just go into this, right? So, first of all, I do like how at the beginning, you know, it's a very meta perspective, right? He basically calls himself out as potentially an unreliable narrator. I think I touched on the subject of a unreliable narrator many times throughout this series already. It's a well-known literary device. I think it's been used in a lot of ways, you know, sparingly here and there throughout the entire series through all the first-person accounts that we've been going through so far, and especially because there's so many people here, right? So, and that is the point here, especially since, you know, going back to a few series ago, you know, I made the point where I feel like these aberrations, if you will, you could argue that they are sort of like mental illnesses of these people as well, in a sort of sense, right? I know it's not like a one-for-one exact kind of, it doesn't directly fit into that way, but I think if you stretch it a little bit, you could put that model into this entire story. And so that makes the concept of an unreliable narrator much more plausible, and you know, I just feel like it's inevitable in this case where there's literally, you know, lots and lots of you know, supernatural things going on and so on and so forth. And not to mention, like, in one case we already know it's true, right? In Sengoku's case, so we already know that she was self-deceiving and deceiving as us viewers at the same time, right? Readers at the same time. And so that's one thing I do love about Kaiki right at the beginning. He comes out and say it. Why does he say this though? Because, again, coming from a meta perspective, right? Not only is he breaking the fourth wall, talking to us as readers or viewers, but also he's self-aware that he is supposed to be an antagonist character. He wants to be an antagonist character, and so he's taking an antagonistic attitude toward us, the readers, as well, right? Or I guess you could say slightly neutral, but definitely if we were to categorize them into two different parts, more slightly leaning towards the antagonist side, right? So I love that entire, you know, get-go, this entire setup that we have at the very beginning here. And then, of course, the episode itself, you know, tons of fun. The opening, by the way, I do it seems to be directly connected with what we're going to be talking about in this arc, in this story. We see the visuals, we see the crab being wrapped by the snake and whatnot. We see the lyrics of the song, and indeed it seems to be talking about the same sort of thing. At the very end of the song, though, it mentioned a part where need to continue living on for the sake of the one you love, right? So as we can see here in this very first episode, we constantly see Senjugahara being like, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice my life for Araki, and etc, etc, etc. But of course, we also know that Araki is never going to accept something like this, right? So I do feel like that's probably going to come into play sometime later, and the opening is a foreshadowing of that. Beyond that, the actual episode at hand, absolutely hilarious. Again, it could be true, it could be fake. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's a fake story anyways, right? The entire Monogatari series is just fiction. So who cares if it's actually true or not? During all the past different arcs, when they were battling and duking it out or whatnot, were they actually, destroying like skyscrapers, destroying buildings, destroying schools, etc, etc? Was Araki really like suplexing Mayoi or suplexing his sisters and whatnot and really going at it? It doesn't matter, right? It's just entertaining, it's just fun, and as Kaiki said, as long as it's a quality story for us to enjoy, that's all that really matters, right? If you really think about what he said at the beginning there, it goes down so many levels, especially from a meta perspective where we as viewers are watching this series. So already I'm the whole vibe of this first episode of this arc is already giving me a lot of things to feel entertained about. I love this initial beginning here. And also, Senjugahara is Senjugahara, right? I mean, I love their interactions here. I love the part where they were, like, basically trying to one-up each other. They're trying to keep their cool. They're trying to gain the upper hand. Also, how can I put it? The pacing of it is just really brilliant if you think about it. The back and forth dialogue, the parts where they, basically said, okay, I want to end this conversation right here. Let's restart over, and using the purposefully, accidentally spilling a drink on the other person as a sort of stoppage to sort of shift gears and whatnot. I thought that was utilized brilliantly. In fact, this is actually, it's quite funny because I feel like this would fit even more better here rather than in literary form, right? Having a scene where you're being interrupted, your train of thought is completely stopped by somebody purposefully throwing a glass of orange juice or coffee onto you. I feel like that is utilized much better in anime form, in a visual form, than it is in a literary form. So kudos to them to actually incorporating it. Or if that wasn't originally in the light novel, then kudos to them for actually integrating this in a way that I felt really added to the flow of the entire conversation here. And then, what they were talking about in actuality, I don't think there's too much to dwell on there. It's all, it's quite logical, right? And not to mention, I kind of feel like there's probably some other kind of twist within this entire thing, but we'll get to that later. I want to touch more upon Kaiki a little bit because I not only do I love the way that this series originally began, this arc originally began, right? This episode originally began, but I also love the fact that they are using Kaiki as a sort of first-person view in terms of watching this very important story play out, right? I do enjoy looking at a story through the eyes of the antagonist. It's something I feel like it's not utilized enough, and also, to me anyways, I've always held the belief that a good storyteller, you can actually judge not by how they write the protagonist, but by how they write the antagonist, right? And so, for instance here, where we are directly inside the head of Kaiki here, it's a good opportunity for us to see if he actually, what actually makes him click, what actually makes him tick, and if it's following a logical procedure here, right? For instance, that very ending scene with Kaiki in the bathroom and then going through the checklist and asking for himself. I love that. It's basically once again reinforcing what his values are, what his morals are. and then we can slowly see him, working out everything. We understand a little bit more of Kaiki's psyche here. And the answers that he gave was absolutely in line with what we've known about him so far. And that just reinforces that, right? Now, the one thing I think I can maybe sort of infer here, is that at the very end he decided to take on this case, at least from his perspective, because he wanted to do it for the sake of Kambaru, right? Who is also an acquaintance of Aragi and Sindrigahara. Or I guess if we are following his train of thought, it's more like, okay, because if he doesn't do anything, then the deity god, Sengoku, might destroy the entire town or something like that, or maybe something of that nature, I guess. So doing it for Kambaru here. And we know he says that he's doing this, and he specifically mentions that it's the daughter of the sister of Gaian, right? Of Gaian Izuko. So, combined with what we've known from him earlier, where he seems to be a guy who really dislikes owning a debt to someone else, I do kind of wonder if his entire backstory has more to do with Subaru's mother. In essence, right? Just a wild guess here, but I think it would make sense. Otherwise, this is a guy who really doesn't have any qualms about doing bad things to other people. He's just basically just like, you just tough luck, tough shit, right? He's basically that kind of guy. If you lose, that kind of person. And if anything bad were to happen to him, I guarantee that he probably would also not be too mad about it either, right? He might be a little bit depressed and whatnot, but I feel like from what I've seen of him so far and how Kaiki is carrying himself, his own morals and values and whatnot, I feel like he would consider it fair game if he was the one being swindled, right? And that's just that. So, anyways, I hope that kind of came across as I hope I fully explained all the different various parts I loved about this, how this particular arc is kicking off, and, well, I can't wait to see how things are going to progress going forward. I do hope that we can continue to keep Kaiki's perspective all the way to the end, that's really so interesting, right? Not only just the case where they are actually doing something like this, but also utilizing it at a time when this is literally the end of this particular season, which is also, I guess, a big stopping point for the entire story, right? Obviously, I don't know like what's going to happen later on. I do know that there's lots and lots of other material still, but whether it is still from a time series continuing on or whatnot, I think that is a little bit more vague to me, especially now that I know that, hey, they are actually about to enter college by the end of this semester, so potentially by the end of this arc, right? By the end of this season. So does that mean that everything that comes after that is no, it's actually interspersed throughout the current timeline that we've seen so far? Now, I don't know, right? I have not seen a synopsis or any sort of introduction or explanation of any of the other series. It's just that I don't feel like this is a series which would be conducive if they continue it even into college life, because I feel like a lot of the sort of topics that we are sort of touching on here, and indeed, either you want to call it mental problems, or you want to call it supernatural stuff, or you want to call it maybe problems that you have whilst you are growing up, or you're going through puberty and whatnot. I just feel like most of these stuff don't really carry on over towards college life. It's like the end of a how do I put it? It's a reason why lots of Japanese manga and anime and whatnot always feature high schoolers or mid schoolers, right? Because it represents like getting into college and whatnot. That represents a turning point in your life that's really not conducive anymore to having these kinds of characters and these kinds of interpretation of events, I guess you could say. So anyways, I feel like that's been going on a little bit too long. Hopefully this didn't come off as too much of a ramble, but in any case, I'm really enjoying this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one as well. Stay tuned. Bye bye.